games? What happened at Unrivaled? What is the real reason why Aaliyah Boston is going through these hurdles? Because as of right now, the Indiana Fever do not five besides Aaliyah Boston. And let's pull it up right now. Let's play it and listen to it. Roll the footage, baby.
Ultimately, you left the game and stayed back there. What is that feeling like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucks because you never want to leave your teammates.
The most pressing subject surrounding the Indiana Fever at the specifically whether she will be available for the upcoming game or whether the team is looking at a more extended absence. The Fever need answers about their interior presence, because what the Dallas Wings did to the Mystics recently exposed serious problems in Brian January and Stephanie White's defensive structure. On paper, both those teams appear more equipped than Indiana right now. That is a difficult truth. Though, is defensive possessions and defensive rebounding. If the Fever can figure those two things out, a legitimate deep playoff push is absolutely still within reach.
Leave your teammates out there just hooping, but just being cautious, and that's kind of that was my call, just to pull myself out of there, so yeah.
Was it a continuation of what you were already experiencing?
I mean, it's just my lower leg, I've definitely had some moments with that, and so for me, it's just about taking it day to day. And I think the coaching staff and the medical staff have just done a great job just talking to me, making sure, asking me how I'm feeling, and just kind of going off that.
Was it pain or was there a movement you did where you could feel
No, no specific movement, yeah.
Was it so challenging to...
Boston spoke with reporters and offered some detail around her injury situation. What took place at the Unrivaled event, why she has been absent, and what the day-to-day management of her condition actually looks like. The Fever simply do not have a reliable five-man without her, which makes every update from her camp critical. In her own words, Boston made clear that leaving the game was her decision and hers alone. A cautious rather than a forced one. The issue has been ongoing with her lower leg, and the approach has been to treat it moment by moment rather than set any hard timeline. The medical and coaching staff have remained in constant communication with her, checking in regularly and adjusting based on how she responds each day. She described the experience of watching from the sideline as genuinely strange, something that had not happened since high school, but took clear pride in watching her teammates secure the win without her.
Yeah.
Was it so challenging to stand on the sidelines for the first time in
Yeah, that was
years?
weird. No, it was super weird for me. I was like, this doesn't even make any sense. But I mean, my teammates, they handled business. We got the dub, so it was great to just cheer them on. They played great.
hard to find high school numbers, but when's the last time you actually missed a 5-on-5 game even?
I think last game was the first time probably since high school, honestly. So it's kind of crazy, but hey, sometimes it happens.
How are things today? Do you think you'll be able to do full
Yeah,
practice?
everything's great. Feeling great. Ready to practice, get out on the court.
Going forward, her plan in practice is to stay engaged in the drills that build team chemistry, particularly anything tied to new action plays, while being selective about her overall workload. The medical staff monitors her reps carefully. And she credited them with doing a strong job of balancing her health against her competitive drive. Boston acknowledged that learning to manage a lower body issue is new territory for her. She has never navigated this before, and that she is still figuring out where that line sits between pushing through discomfort and knowing when to step back. For the moment, her message was straightforward. She feels good. She is ready to practice. And the path forward looks promising. With Boston sidelined in the most recent game, Mo and Misha stepped into expanded roles and handled the responsibility well. Boston gave both of them genuine praise, emphasizing that it is important for every post player on the roster to be capable of carrying the load, regardless of circumstances.
Ready to practice, get out on the court with my girls, so I'm excited.
Steph talked about having to manage all this, even from the beginning of the season. What does that look like for you? Is that doing less, or being strategic about the reps you get, or taking days off?
Yeah, I think in practice, just being strategic with my reps. Obviously, you want to continue to build that chemistry. So for me, just making sure I'm doing exactly like if we're doing certain drills, make sure I'm in there, especially if it's focused on new action and stuff like that. But honestly, I think everyone's been doing a great job managing my minutes and managing my...
That depth, she suggested, is going to matter as the season develops. Stephanie White's press availability raised its own set of questions. She addressed the roster's forward group, stressing that what is needed from those players is energy and disruption on both ends of the floor. Better rebounding, harder cuts, more activity off screens. The emphasis is on creating easy looks for Maisha and D in the same way those opportunities are typically built around Boston, particularly in the half court. White also noted that Mo and KK's activity levels carry real value, and that the staff is working to sharpen exactly where those players operate within the offensive scheme. On Caitlin Clark's developing connection with Maisha, White offered a measured but positive read.
Job managing my minutes and managing my performance in practice and stuff like that. But yeah, everything's great. I think we're on a great path.
Obviously, you weren't used to being on the sideline.
Yeah.
What did you think of Mo stepping in and Maisha, and like how did you still try to be that leader?
Yeah, I think just by communication, but I think Mo and Mai, they handled it. Didi, KK came in, did exactly what they needed to do. I think that's super important for us as post players, just to make sure that no matter what, like, we're able to handle our own. I think they continue to show that every single game, regardless of whether I played or not. And so I'm just super excited.
She noted that Maisha understands how to play off Clark in ways that mirror how Boston functions, hunting easy shots, bringing the ball up in transition, getting into action. The rapport is building, and White suggested the foundation is already solid. Looking ahead to the Portland game, White acknowledged the significance of facing a franchise that has returned to the league and treated them with respect, calling them a scrappy, multi-effort team that demands full attention regardless of record. She also spoke positively about assistant coach Tony and the value she brings, specifically her range of experience playing in multiple environments, her international background, and the grounded perspective she offers a staff that, across the board, has this lulled on the broader question of the Fever's defensive development through 4 games. This is a preview. White acknowledged there is still considerable room to grow, but pointed to improvement in rotation awareness and overall activity level over the most recent stretch of games.
Show that every single game, regardless of whether I played or not. And so I'm just super excited. I think they did a great job.
Now that you have actually been playing with an injury that's being managed, do you think it has affected your play at all, or do you feel like when you're out there it feels totally normal?
I feel like when I'm out there, I'm good to go. And if I'm not, then I'm making sure that I want to be the best. So if I'm not feeling the best, then I can't perform the best. But for the most part, I've been feeling great.
As the player's never dealt with injuries before, how do you kind of learn to find that spot of when to put that balance between pushing yourself and
Yeah, no, I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that. I think that's where the medical staff comes in. Sometimes they're like, Aaliyah, great job.
The expectation from the coaching staff is for that progress to keep moving forward without interruption. What was noticeably absent from the entire press session was any direct acknowledgement of the viral sideline footage involving White and Caitlin Clark that has been circulating. The beat reporters covering the Fever did not press on it, and White did not bring it up voluntarily.
Still working on that. I think that's where the medical staff comes in. Sometimes they're like, Aaliyah, great job. They look at my load as well. I think just being a post player, we already do extra set screens, run, rebound, have them do a lot of stuff. And so for me, just making sure I'm cautious of that. But hey, it's day to day. Like, I just take it as I get it, and I just continue to be the best I can be.
I think if they can't celebrate, then
How have you felt about the first couple of weeks and adapting with this new team?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I'm still getting used to playing with my new teammates, but for the most part, it's just basketball.
I want to hear from Stephanie White. because Stephanie White has to.
Something significant is happening with the Indiana Fever, and the numbers are hard to ignore. What could be one of the biggest management stories in recent sports history is unfolding in real time. The evidence starts with attendance. A recent home game drew just 14,500 fans, the lowest turnout since Caitlin Clark joined the franchise. That means nearly 3,000 seats sat empty.
Because Stephanie White has to be in the hot seat today, bro. Less
Disruptive, rebounding. We got to do a better job of rebound.
We saw KK doing some defensive drills. Just how is she doing after that hit in the jaw on Sunday?
She seems good to me. She's KK. She's like the Terminator. She said she's good to go.
This group of forwards, or with the forwards beyond Aaliyah, just what are you looking to see from them moving forward? What are you, I guess, just
activity on both ends of the floor. Activity on the defensive end, being disruptive.
And it gets worse. 8-0. Resellers who bought in bulk are now stuck, desperately trying to offload seats hours before tip-off. That is not a healthy market. That is a market in retreat.
Around Caitlin Clark. But we've got the repercussions of what's going on. The other day I said, as I was doing my reaction to the game, we witnessed in real time me seeing the attendance dropping to 14,500. And me going, that's the lowest attended game in the history of Caitlin Clark's arrival. That's nearly 3,000 empty seats.
The broader attendance picture confirms it. The Indiana Fever currently rank 5th in home attendance across the entire WNBA. For context, the Portland Fire recently drew 335 to a single game. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark ranks 2nd in jersey sales across all of basketball, behind only Steph Curry, including every player in the NBA. Fans are clearly still buying into Clark personally.
That's nearly 3,000 empty seats. Fans are paying attention. Fans are unhappy. Look, Indiana Fever front office, leadership, Herb Simon, Pacers organization. Pay attention. Do not be Disney. Do not be these other companies that fan blame and vocal minority shit and ignore. Do not be that company that ignores the fan.
They are just not showing up to watch the Fever. The disconnect between Clark's individual popularity and the team's declining draw points directly at how the offense is being constructed. In a recent media session, Kelsey Mitchell described the team's system in revealing terms, explaining that plays are designed to get her to her dominant hand, structured the same way a contender like the Las Vegas Aces builds everything around A'ja Wilson. The problem is that the player on this roster who warrants that kind of offensive architecture is Caitlin Clark, not anyone else. Coach Stephanie White appears committed to a scheme that roots the offense through Derica Hamby and Lexi Hull, using them the way a team might deploy a traditional post presence. Slow, methodical, half-court basketball.
And ignore. Do not be that company that ignores the fan base. Because you're about to fumble the bag. You're fumbling the bag right now, actually. It's rolling around. The bag is rolling around on the floor. Question is, are you going to pick it up and take care of it and pet it and nurture it? Or are you just going to, I'm trying to pick it up, keep kicking it around, looking like Leon let the snow in the damn Super Bowl or whatever. That wasn't the Super Thanksgiving Day game.
When Clark takes over on her own and pushes the pace, the product becomes genuinely electric. When the structured system takes hold, the energy drains out of the building entirely. That contrast is not subtle. There is also a broadcast dimension. View this. Received the full network treatment.
I think. Yeah, back in the day. I hope I have that right. God, that's been a long time ago. People are like, Leon Lett who? He played for the Dallas Cowboys, okay? Back in the triplets era, the Super Bowl era of the Dallas Cowboys. The last Super Bowl era. This is the tickets. Guys, we're 9.5 hours away from this game starting.
No ratings were released for the Clark game, which itself suggests the numbers were not favorable. Networks that have invested heavily in WNBA rights are going to start asking uncomfortable questions if the fun product continues to underperform. The Fever front office and ownership have a decision in front of them. The infrastructure for something genuinely historic, a transcendent player, national media interest, jersey sales that rival the biggest names in professional basketball, is all sitting right there. What surrounds that player, from coaching philosophy to offensive system to roster construction, is what determines whether that opportunity gets seized or squandered entirely.
We're 9.5 hours away from this game starting. 9.5 hours. Those little dots are all tickets that's available to this game. This is standard and resale. Guys, the resellers, let me show you right here. The resellers are selling tickets. They're trying to get out from under tickets. Their ticket prices, the resellers are now get out from under tickets. Their ticket prices, the resellers are now cheaper than a standard ticket. The resellers bought all these tickets, and now they're stuck with them. And now they're having to drop the prices. That's where we're at. $10.71. A standard ticket's $11.80. Guys, this is game day. Today. I had to check. I was like, am I right? Is it Wednesday? Yeah. At 8:30 a.m. The game's at 7. At 8:30 a.m. The game's at 7. Yikes. Yikes. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. And some people will still tell you, oh, everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Please move along. Listen to me. I know everything. Okay. All right. My boy CDS Sports. Go subscribe. Okay. All right. My boy CDS Sports. Go subscribe. The Indiana Fever are 5th. Yes, 5th in home attendance. Caitlin Clark is second in jersey sales, including the NBA. She's second in all of basketball. Steph Curry's the only person ahead of her in jersey sales. More and more fans are supporting Caitlin Clark and no longer supporting the Fever. That's a fact, Jack. And I was like, let's go pull the data up for this, shall we? My boy is right.